candidate you volunteered for?
Well, thank you for that question. It gives me warm memories. I think I mentioned I became a Democrat during Howard Dean's presidential campaign. I had just graduated from college recently. I'll just back it up by saying that I grew up as a Republican in a very conservative church and family. And so it was in college when my daughter was born and I started really considering what do I believe versus what I had grown up believing. And it was Howard Dean's presidential campaign that actually brought me over, and I have never looked back. So Howard Dean's campaign, he's the first one. He was really my political mentor in a lot of ways, and he actually encouraged me to read Harry Truman's biography, the one written by David McCullough. And that made me realize that my personal political philosophy is populism for sure, but progressive. That change is inevitable, but it's not guaranteed to be progress unless we work together to make it progress. And so I've been proud to be a Democrat. I've been a delegate to the New Hampshire Democratic Party's convention, I think, every year since that time, and worked with a lot of people, including our state senator, Sue Prentice, who's here, and whose support I'm also very proud to have in this race, and electing good Democrats. Howard Dean said to his supporters when they dropped out, voting isn't enough. You get a D for voting. You get a C if you give money. You get a B if you knock on doors. I have knocked on a lot of doors. But you get an A if you run for office. And so it was after that campaign, in 2004, he didn't win, but I helped locally with our state representatives in Lebanon. And the next year I ran for city council myself in 2005. I was 25 years old. And he was the first one I volunteered for, and he also set me on this career of public service.
So, by the time I was voting age, I wasn't living in a swing state anymore. So I lived in Illinois, initially when I was voting age, and then I was in California otherwise. So I think the first candidate probably that I was supporting, didn't need a lot of support when I was in California, was President Obama. So I was out advocating for my friends, of course. Didn't do a lot of door knocking out in California, because that's just not the way that politics are done, but certainly attended fundraisers and that kind of thing. But when I jumped in for this race, I wanted to make sure that I could actually do that in a more meaningful way. I do think this element is critical and a special responsibility of whoever serves in this executive council seat. As Karen said earlier, this is a safe blue Democratic seat, right? Because of the extreme gerrymandering that is happening, which is why it doesn't make a lot of sense, frankly, to contribute in this district. And I wanted to make sure that I could raise funds for candidates in other districts. So I took on the role as the finance chair for the Democratic Party. I was the state finance chair for the state over this last year, basically. And I was the most successful finance chair that the party has ever had. And I think what I brought to that was a special insight on the software tools that we have, which frankly are archaic, and organizing tools that we have. And there was so little attention, paid to that over the years, and I think I did, a good job highlighting that we need to clean up, our data so we can get people the information you need. I don't think the job of, someone serving in that role or the executive council is to be the smartest person in the room. What you're doing is empowering other folks. You're not necessarily going to be out knocking on every single door yourself, although I've done that, before across the state, down in the mayor's race last year in Manchester. And so that's kind of what I think I bring to the table, is that